Peace, family. I am here. Welcome to Thursday Therapy. I actually did not do any promotion for this. Hey, Jamil, welcome. You're the first one here. It's so interesting. I've had the craziest week, especially with Halloween being yesterday. And I didn't do any promotion for Hey Nas for my Thursday therapy. So let's see who shows up. This Afro Puff is doing it, y'all. It's doing it. Hey Famaya, come on in, girl. Come on in, guys. So today I didn't really have a particular topic, but I think one of the themes of my week and especially my day has been compassion and non-judgment. That has really been in my vibrational alignment for the past couple of days. Honestly, I believe that the reason why compassion and non-judgment has been so hey, tell me what your name is. It looks like Gun John, but tell me what your name is so I can address you. I think that compassion and non-judgment have been in my vibrational alignment because I am in this space of transformation, which I think a lot of us are. A lot of us during Scorpio season are deciding what we're going to take with us into this next phase in our life. You know, it's the fall, we're moving into the winter, those cold months where we stay inside and do a lot of self-assessment and reflection. And being in a place of non-judgment and compassion forces you to stop pointing the finger at other people, right? It forces you to stop making your life experiences about what someone is doing to you, right? And when you stop making your experiences about what someone is doing to you, then your whole life just opens up and you're able to create and co-create all of these new beautiful experiences. Welcome, King Sean. Hi, welcome to Thursday Therapy. I was talking about how compassion and non-judgment have been something that has been in my vibrational alignment all week. And hey, Natasha. And the way that we stop judging others for the things that we are going through, the way that we stop judging others' behavior as being harmful to us, we stop taking things personally. Y'all, I've been reading the 4 Agreements too. I think that's another thing. The 4 Agreements, this is my first time reading it, and it has been really transformative for me. And it was like perfect timing for Jamil. Nas is in the room. She's right there. It was perfect timing for me to read this book and get these agreements and dive into these lessons about all of the agreements that we've made since childhood. And the way that we've been taught to do things since childhood. Hey, Ricky, welcome. And how making those, hey, Coach Sir, and making those agreements, hey, Liana, how they have affected us in our, I don't know, the cuckoo. Is that a cuckoo? Is that what that is? The way that those agreements have affected the way that we interact with the world today. And that agreement, don't take anything personally, that has been in my awareness all week long. And when you don't take things personally, you take so much power in your life. You own every experience that you have, because isn't every experience a co-creation? I was just having a conversation with a friend and we were talking about relationships, and he was asking me, you know, what if what if I want this type of relationship? What if I want a monogamous relationship with a woman? I want to have children, and all of a sudden she switches things up and she doesn't want that anymore. And she wants to go and she wants to, let's say, open the relationship. And I said, well, it's still your choice, because at that point you get to decide whether or not you want to say yes to that or you want to say no. No one is ever doing anything to you. No one is ever doing anything to you. You are co-creating your experiences. You are saying, okay, I will be here and present for this experience. And when you own that, you can begin to create from a space of love and non-judgment, allowing other people to just do what they do you. But you can do you without having an effect on me, because I'm going to put up boundaries. I'm going to have boundaries in place that protect my heart and protect my experiences in life, and lead me down the path where I want to go. And if our paths no longer align, that's okay, because I'm not going to judge your experience as hurting me. Your experiences are your own experiences, and my experiences are my own experiences. And if I decide to co-create with you, let's do it. But if not, that's up to me. Those are my decisions. And it's just, I don't know, y'all, it's just so empowering to be in a place of non-judgment and compassion and understanding how we create our own experience, how we are always co-creating. So that is the subject of today, is the power of co-creation, how we, if we're in a place of non-judgment and compassion, we free ourselves. That is our topic. So, but if anybody has anything that they like to bring to the table, remember, Thursday therapy is all about you. It is all about the things that you want to talk about. This is your session. So if there's anything that you would like to bring to the table, let's do it. Any relationship stuff, any life stuff. Hey, D Winter, I don't know your real name. If you tell me your real name and I'll say hello and address you properly. But if there's anything that you guys want to talk about, anything that's on your mind, anything that's happened the past week, y'all, we are in Scorpio season. It is real out here for transformation and deciding, Dwayne, hey Dwayne, and deciding on the things that we want to take with us into the next phases of our lives. A lot of things are coming up and being revealed, you know, so what is it that you guys have going on? And how can we stay in a place of non-judgment and compassion? Are you struggling with that? Are you struggling with non-judgment? A friend of mine told me we have to judge things. Things have to have judgment. We have to judge people and their behavior. And I think in some ways that's true, that we do have to make some judgments. But when it comes to relationships with other people and the space where we co-create, I don't have to judge another person's behavior as good or bad, right or wrong. I don't have to do that. I can allow people, we can allow others to always seek and create the experiences they want to create. Why does that have to be something that hinders our own creation? Does it? Is someone else's creation and process of creating, does that hinder our creation, our creative process? Can we be in a place of non-judgment with relationships? What do you guys think? Talk to me about this. Give me your feedback. Or we can change the subject. It's your session. It is your session. So, you know, also Halloween just passed. How was Halloween for you guys? Did anything come up in that day? A lot of times we are pressured as parents in particular, but also as single people, to show up to parties and to wear the costumes and to pretend to be someone that we're not for a day. Did that bring up anything for you guys? This is Thursday therapy, y'all. Let's talk about it. Let's see. The Rael the Archangel, hello, welcome to Thursday therapy. Nobody is giving me anything to talk about or anything this is you guys' safe space. This is our village. So if there's something that you like to bring to the table, bring it. And if ever you guys have situations where you would like to talk about something but don't necessarily want to ask questions in the chat, go to my page, click the link in my bio, and sign up for my email list, and that's the way that we can communicate. You can just respond to those emails. Nazreen says, Scorpio season, my time, feeling it in full force. I have begun the process of eliminating dead weight in my life. Dead weight first in myself. Yes. And isn't that the work? It's so interesting because it can be really easy to go on the outside of ourselves and cut away all of the relationships that are not working for us anymore, or cut away some of like the outside energy. We stop watching TV so much, or we cut off the radio, or we listen to different types of music. All the things that are coming into ourselves, we start to work on those things first, even if it is giving advice to our friends or our loved ones, people who we're in relationship with, but just working on things outside of ourselves. The real work, the hardest thing, is looking within and saying, what am I carrying? Let's open my baggage. Let me get these bags, these designer bags that I've tucked all of my traumas and adverse experiences and messed up beliefs, and let's open that up and see which beliefs, which thoughts, which behaviors, which expressions of self need to be cut away too, need to be eliminated, need to be unpacked and left behind on this journey. What stuff do we need to put down? A lot of things are even very difficult to even look at when we open that luggage. It can be really difficult to take the time and create the space to look at what's there. Are you guys having issues with that? Nas, how's that process going with you? I've never really understood why I love this season so much. This, from right before Halloween all the way through the new year, really through Valentine's Day, through like when we're getting into like Aries season. That is all like my time that I love so much. And a lot of it is about inner looking, inner working, going in and doing evaluation and assessment of self. That's the work that this season calls us to do. And it calls us to do it in a way that we're not working on others, right? So, but the relationships that we're in with others, those are the ones that bring up the challenges for us, right? That's where we see if we really have changed, if we really have cut away the things that no longer work for us, if we really have changed our beliefs, if we really have been working on our triggers. These times we're with family members that we haven't been with in forever. These time periods that are coming up when we are, spending money in ways that we don't usually spend it, when we are seeing people that we don't usually see. This is like the test. This is test time, right? Because the situations, emotions are higher. Alcohol is in the room at a higher rate. So that means inhibitions are low. Things may be said that have not been said before. You might be the person saying the things that have never been said before. How are we using a concept or concepts like non-judgment and compassion? How are we going to put those things in our bag and carry them with us into this season, right? Are you guys ready for seeing family? Are you guys ready for the holidays? I know that October has been a really hard month for me. I had a great aunt who passed away. I had a very dear friend of mine who was murdered. I've had the anniversaries of both my grandfathers passing and transition on. And so October's a tough month. And a lot of us are going through some of these transitions, and on top of the transition, we also have our own emotions that we're dealing with. How is that going for you guys? How is this idea of carrying your baggage, carrying all of your thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, all of your experiences with you into the holiday season? How is that going for you guys? Are you guys making plans? Are you guys preparing for it? Is there anything that you guys feel you need to strengthen? Or is there anything that you guys need to put into your toolboxes that you know of? Are you thinking that there might be a family member that you really don't want to see and interact with? Is there any anxiety that's attached to it? What's going on with you guys? Talk to me. It's so quiet today. We have a quiet group today. This is your village. This is your opportunity to work out some of the things that you need to work on. So talk to me about it, or not. Whatever's going on in your life, whatever is happening in your world, in your reality, that you might need some assistance sifting through. And how are you using non-judgment and compassion on your journey? I have another example of using those things, non-judgment and compassion on a journey. So as we move into the holiday season, we are going to encounter people who are not cheerful, who are struggling through this season. We are going to encounter people who are struggling with their personal journey. Okay, let's see. Nas says, I have been battling myself for months, and I'm just acknowledging that I don't hold myself accountable. Yeah, so what does holding yourself accountable look like for you? If you are going to, so you've recognized that you've become aware that you're having this lack of accountability. Nazarene says, I'm responsible for my happiness and unhappiness. Amen, sister. I cannot blame any outside forces because I am the controller. Exactly. That is so right. And the best part about that is once you figure that out, you can have anything. You can do anything. You can create anything. When you stand in a place of power instead of victimhood, like victimization, then you can create anything. And you can find others who want to co-create with you. And that's sometimes can be the hardest part of realizing that power, is that you are now in a place where you are sure about what you want, and you've decided to create something new, and it doesn't always gel or vibe. It's not always in agreement with the people that you have already invited into your life, that you're already in relationship with. And if your new path does not vibe and gel and it is not in agreement with the people who you have already chosen to be in your life, how does one reconcile that? How do you continue to be in relationship with people that you really care about when you are making your own changes? One of the ways that you can do that is to just be honest and communicate and allow people to make their own decisions. You can let them know, hey, I still hold space for our relationship, but this is the direction that I would like to go in, And as the controller, Nazreen, what does it look like to hold yourself accountable? I would love to talk a little bit more about that. How do you see yourself as holding yourself accountable? I know one of my ways is looking at the things that I write down. I'll write down, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And then sometimes when I'm not holding myself accountable, I won't look at it again. I know that there's stuff on that list that I needed to do, and I'm like, I don't even want to look at the list because I already know the stuff that I didn't do that I needed to do. But holding myself accountable means going back to that list and holding it until they're done. keep looking at it until those tasks are completed. Even if it takes me way longer than what I originally planned, that's a way for me to hold myself accountable. What's a way for you to hold yourself accountable? And I can't remember what I was saying about compassion, non-judgment. Oh, other people. There are going to be other people during this season who are not happy, who are not cheerful, who are not in the mood, who don't want to engage in any of these things. People who have anxiety, people who have seasonal disorders, people who are challenged by being around family members who may have caused them pain in their childhoods when they didn't have power like we have now as adults. And when we encounter people who are struggling with their own personal journey, it's very important that we look at their behavior and not take it personally. Do not take the behaviors of others personally, because it's not about you. It's not about us. They are doing the best that they can with the tools that they have. And a lot of times, especially during this season, when we're seeing people that we haven't seen in years and years and years, sometimes people who have caused us great pain that was never held accountable for the pain that they caused in our childhood when we did not have power. That is when people are doing things to protect themselves from that. And so we might see it as being disruptive at the family gatherings. We might see it as over drinking or overindulging. We might see it as an attitude or being standoffish or distant even. But when you come from a place of non-judgment and compassion, you open a space, a safe space for someone to open up to you or just be. Just let them be. Allow them to take care of themselves in the way that they need to and have no judgment of it. Tell them, I'm just happy you're here. It's so good to see you. We got to come into the room with different language. The language of compassion and non-judgment is completely different. You don't have to say someone is doing something right or wrong. You don't have to judge their behavior as good and bad, as appropriate and not appropriate, because they're just doing the best for themselves. Let's see, Nas says, I actually need help in that area. I would write things down and they'd disappear. I'm working on a way to force myself to commit, not force, encourage. You know, it's funny because I feel like some people get this like really, really early in life, like where my oldest son, Khalid, he's 12 now. Some people get this lesson at like 12 and 13. They're able to make commitments and follow through really easily. And some of us are still working on it. So I think one way that is really encouraging to commit is to place things in your environment that help you, that remind you of your why. You know, I work really hard at building this private practice and this business, not because I want to be rich or because I want to be financially free, which I do. However, making sure that my children have an opportunity to travel is one of my whys. Making sure that I am living out my gifts that I came to this reality with, that's a part of my why. Always being, hey, Best Maid. What is your name, Best Maid Organic, so I can address you properly? Welcome. Understanding that, I was talking about my whys. Yes. Understanding that when I'm doing this work for others, I'm also doing that work for myself. That's one of my whys. And so, Nazreen, filling your environment with reminders of why you want to do or why you want to be committed to any one thing is a great way to encourage yourself to stay committed and to follow through. Another way is to practice visualization. Visualization is a powerful tool for manifestation, maybe the most powerful tool for manifestation. So if you're taking a moment in your day, maybe this is at the beginning of your day or the end of your day, and you are sitting down, closing your eyes, quieting the room, maybe turning on some music, and you are picturing yourself in the place that you want to be. So the commitment's been made and you did it for a reason. Let's just say, I don't know, the commitment is a gym membership. Okay, that's a new one that I just made. A commitment is a gym membership. You may have made that commitment because you want a certain level of health and strength at the end of the next 6 months or the end of the year. You want to have a certain amount of strength. So your visualization exercise might be of you being able to do something strength-wise that you've never done before. Like, I can't do a push-up on my feet. I gotta do push-ups on my knees. This whole area does not support the rest of me. And so one of my goals is to be able to do a push-up on my feet, a regular push-up, and visualizing myself doing that over and over and over again gets me in that gym. It gets me to working on the parts now that, the goal is not met yet, but in my mind it is. And the thing about it is that your brain doesn't understand the difference between thinking and doing. And so if you're just thinking about something, that is a powerful tool for practice. But you have to get into your vibrational workshop. You have to get into a quiet place in your mind where you can catch the vibe. And what I mean by catch the vibe is you can feel the emotion that this thing is already happening. Like, I get really excited when I think about being able to do a push-up, on my feet, because I've never been able to do that before. And so when I feel the emotion like it's already being done, that's when the new neural pathways are created in the mind and the brain, the actual physical brain. That's when the new neurons are created in your physical brain to make those things happen. Because we've all heard about the stories of people doing miraculous things with their bodies that they've never been able to do before just because something turned on in their mind. And so use that. Use it for the little stuff too. It doesn't have to be something huge and miraculous. Use it for the small stuff. Use it to get yourself in the gym. Use it to finish and accomplish a goal that you've been wanting to accomplish for a long time. Use your mental magic, your power of visualization to remind yourself every single day why you've chosen to do something. So those are two things that you can start to do in order to put yourself in a place of holding yourself accountable, right? Those are two things that you can do. Visualization and putting things in your environment to remind you of your why you started this, why you want to commit to this particular thing, why you want to, what this means to you. I hope those things were helpful. Give me some feedback. Maybe there are some other ways that you've been thinking of too that you'd like to share. And if anyone else on the thread has a suggestion, this is the village, so we are open to hearing them. What has worked for you in the past? Especially my older adults that are here. What has worked for you in holding yourself accountable to help Nazreen in her journey and holding herself accountable? What's worked for you too? But Naz, I hope that those two suggestions are good foundational suggestions in order to help you along on your journey and helping to commit to some of the things that you want for yourself. Oh, another thing is get like really honest with yourself. Really honest. Because sometimes we commit to things that don't mean anything to us, and that's why they don't work out. But we're like, we want to care about this thing, but we really don't care. We're not in that position just yet of caring about it. And so just think about if it's really something that you want to do. And why are you committing to it? Are you committing because somebody's telling you should commit to it? Are you committing because society says that we should commit to it? Why are you doing it? Nazarene says, very helpful, thank you. It's really finding myself doing the same things every day that are counterproductive to my path. That's me. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's like sometimes, and that's what this season is all about, is finding those things that we need to trim, right? It's trimming the fat. It is going into our baggage and seeing what needs to be put away, what needs to fall away, what parts of ourselves needs to die, what parts do we need to kill off and say, this is not going to work for me anymore. This was great. This pattern of behavior was good for me for a time, but it's not going to work for me anymore. And have you identified yet some of those actions, some of those behaviors that are counterproductive? Hey, Roche. Hey, Nick. Hey, guys. Come on in. Welcome to Thursday Therapy. We are talking about accountability and ways to hold yourself accountable. And Nazreen was sharing that there are some things that she's doing on a daily basis that is, hey Ishaq, what's up? Welcome. Things that she's doing on a daily basis that are counterproductive to some of her goals. And so if you guys have any suggestions for her, as to how you hold yourself accountable to the things that you want to see happen in your life, things you want to see manifested in your life, then by all means share them with us here. This is the village. This is our safe space to learn and practice these skills, and this is why we're here. Or if you guys have anything you want to talk to, please bring it to the table. The overall theme and topic is compassion and non-judgment, and how we use compassion and non-judgment to take power in our relationships, take power in our own experiences, to say that we are the creators of our experiences. How can we use compassion and non-judgment in our journey, in our personal journey? We're also talking about transformation. It's Scorpio season. What are we putting away? What parts of ourselves are we allowing to die? What parts of ourselves are we killing off? Because sometimes it's not a passive thing. Sometimes it's an active thing. Sometimes we have to kill parts of ourselves, Halloween style, and be done with them. And it's always a process. So never think that you kill it and it's dead and it's never coming back. It's always a process. I switched phones to check your sound. How's my sound? Can you hear me? How's it? Is it an issue? Some things we have to take action and kill in the process, in an intentional way, but we have to do it several times because we're so accustomed to doing things a certain way and living our lives in a certain way that it comes back up. It's almost automatic. But the most important thing is that we're aware of them. And Nas, this is still on point with holding yourself accountable, because there are actions associated with holding yourself accountable for the new way of doing things. If there is a pattern of behavior that you're in that is counterproductive, we need a new pattern. We got to kill off the old pattern and enter into a new one. But it takes time. It's echoed and static and low. Does anybody else have an issue with how it just paused? Maybe it's better now. Hold on one second. Let me try something. Okay, let me know if that's better for sound. Oh, Nick says it sounds fine, so I don't know. But one thing that is very difficult about this transition, this transformation, this new way of being, because guys, it's the fall. We're going into winter. These are times to look inside. These are times for inner looking. We're not playing and outside and with other people all the time. Even though family members are going to be coming into our spaces, people that we haven't seen in a long time, people that may have hurt us in our childhood when we didn't have the power. But this time, this fall and winter time, is time to look inside. It's time to decide what it is that you need to kill, what it is that you need to move on from. And so in this process, as we are being challenged, I want you to practice compassion for yourself and non-judgment of yourself. Turn those concepts inwards. Why should we do that, Mia? I'm so glad you asked. Because you are going to go back, fall into your old patterns. You're going to go back to your old behavior. And if you can just hold in your awareness that there's something new that you want to try, let's say the new thing you want to try is, let's just stick with Naz's example. She wants to start holding herself accountable for the things that she commits to. And let's say that, and I'm just making this up, this is completely made up. Let's say that one of the things that is holding you back from being accountable for your actions is the consumption of entertainment. You know, you want to hang out, and you want to be with your friends, and you want to watch television, and you want to listen to your music, and you want to read, and you want to just do things that are entertaining to you. And you find yourself starting your day off like that again. The first thing you do is open Instagram. Or you find yourself plopping down in front of the TV instead of writing something. Oh, really? Damn, girl, we connected, me and you. So let's say you find yourself falling back into that old behavior. When you recognize it, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't say, oh, I'm doing it again. Here I am again, falling back into the same stuff. Don't do that. What you do is say, wow, here I am. Here's the opportunity. It's an opportunity. I can stay here in this place. I know what the result is. I know what the result is when I stay in this place. Or I can go ahead and make a change right now in this moment. And even if you don't choose the change in the moment, that's still okay. Because at least you've recognized that you're doing it, that you're in a pattern that does not work for you anymore. As long as you're recognizing it, that's step one. Guys, change is a process. It's a whole system that you have to bring yourself through. And it's a circle. It's not even a line. You think that once you've been changed for a year, that it's solid, it's solidified, you're never going to fall into old patterns? Yeah, until a person from your past pops up that you haven't had to practice with yet, and boom, right back into old behaviors. But it's okay. It's okay because you recognize it. And so when you're on that circle, in that system of change, in that cycle of change, you know what I'm talking about, Nick. You feel it. That person come back, and it's like, dang, I thought I had changed. I thought I wasn't doing this no more. But it happens. It happens because it's a whole new energy that you are being challenged with, right? So when you're in that system of change, make sure that you are staying aware of the changes that you want to make, the changes that you've already made, okay, and where you are now, somewhere in the middle of that. And then take every opportunity to practice it. Put it into practice every chance you get. Sometimes when we see a pattern of behavior and we say, okay, the thing that's going to help me break this pattern is to get up. Is to just get up. Hey, manpower. Is to get up right now, right? Let's say that you're sitting in front of the TV and you say, let me just stand up. I'm just going to stay. Every time I'm in front of the TV that I know I'm not supposed to be here, I'm just going to stand up and let's see what happens next. That's your immediate response. If you are in a situation that's making you really uncomfortable, your response might be to breathe. I'm just going to take 10 deep breaths. If you are in a relationship and you are triggered in that relationship, your response might be some space. I'm going to go get some space. I'm going to do something that makes me feel good and feel happy. Whatever it is, take every opportunity to practice your new skill. And when you fall back into the old behaviors, forgive yourself. Practice compassion. And also use those experiences to practice non-judgment. So no one's doing anything to you. If you are in a situation where you are with another person and that person has done something to trigger you, they might not even know what they're doing. They might not even know that you're triggered, or that you're angry, or that they've done something to make you feel anything. It is still your responsibility, and only your responsibility, to do the things that make you feel better, to do the things that make you feel good, to do the things that make you feel healthy, because you're the only one that knows those things. So if you've been triggered in your relationship by another person, and this relationship is so many different things. Relationships happen in the workplace. They happen in your home. They happen at the grocery store. They happen everywhere, because you are in relationship with the girl that bags up your groceries every Friday, every Thursday, every 2 days. If you're like me, you live at the grocery store. You are in relationship with so many people in your reality, and so when one of them does something that triggers an emotion, when one of them has a behavior or an action that triggers an emotion inside of you, it is still only your responsibility to right that within yourself, and to practice compassion and non-judgment, and not taking things personally, because whatever they're doing, it might not have anything to do with you. It might not have anything to do with you. And they are not responsible for your emotions. Nobody is responsible for our feelings, our emotions, our behavior, other than us. And some of us are on the other side of that, right? So some of us are in places where we want to make things better for other people. Not all of us are in the place of being triggered by others all the time. Sometimes we're in a place of wanting to place that control inside of someone else's life, and to say, I see that they are struggling over there. Whew, they are struggling. I know what to do. Here you go. Here's some advice, or here's some help with your situation. I'm taking on some of your burden. Give me some of your load to carry. That sounds like a song. I think it's Lean On Me. I'll share your load. Bring it over here. But we still have to stay in a place. Nick, you feel me? I'm telling you. Some of us are helpers in that way. And I think that a lot of men find themselves in that position because they find themselves in the position of fixer. Like, let me fix this for you. Let me help you get over this. And that is a place of judgment, because we say, you are struggling. I see your struggle. I see what you're going through. I know that life. I know what that feels like. I'm watching you feel it. Loved one, friend, co-worker, significant other, wife, husband. I see you struggling over here. Let me fix it for you. Just do what I told you to do, and you'll be better. However, we have to lead with compassion and allow people to live their experiences, because sometimes we are trying to take something away from them that they need to learn for their life's journey. All the lessons that they learn are not about us and about their relationship with us. The lessons that they learn are for them. Let them live. Let them have their own experiences. The one phrase that is the most beautiful phrase that I have begun to practice is, let me know how I can be supportive. Let me know how I can be of support. If you're not asking me for advice, or you're not asking me, Mia, what should I do? What does this mean for me? What could this mean for me? How can I be supportive? Let me know how I can be of support. and then hands off. Let them work it out. Let them fall. Let them bump their heads. Like, what if we treated babies like this, and every time they wanted to walk, we grabbed them? No, don't fall, baby. Don't fall. They would never learn to walk. We have to allow people space to live an experience. Okay, Nick is saying, I've been categorized as a healer. I've always been Mr. Fix-It. It drains me to my core. Then I go into isolation. Ain't it the truth? Ain't that the truth? And how long are we as healers going to stay in relationships that drain us? How long before we start to experience resentment? How long before we start to experience feeling overwhelmed? It is our job to take care of us, and it's their job to take care of them. That is a place of compassion, non-judgment. You can be compassionate from over here. You can be compassionate from a place of observation and let people work things out on their own. That's not a wrong thing to do, because you're taking care of yourself. You are putting yourself in spot number one and making sure that your cup stays full so that you can continue to shine your light. Because a lot of times, and it's so funny, this is the second time this is coming into my awareness. A lot of times we think that the answer is fixing something for someone else. But most of the time, the answer is just being our best and shining our light. And in being our best and shining our light out, that is where the magic is. That is what's really helpful to people, is when we honor ourselves and we take care of ourselves and we shine our light. Shining our light is enough sometimes. Most times, that's enough, y'all. Just be yourself. Just be you. It doesn't have to be you taking action on someone else's life. It doesn't have to be you passing judgment on someone else's actions. Just be you. There's an affirmation. Oh, Roche says, I'm just getting into the zone. Yes. The zone of putting yourself first, Roche. The zone of non-judgment of other people's stuff and just taking care of yourself. Is that the zone you're talking about? Because if so, that is the zone. I see these hands. Yes. Goal. That is the zone where we become our best version of ourselves. Our best self. That's the zone. We're taking care of ourselves. That's it. That's where the magic happens. Nick says, it gets frustrating that I don't receive the same type of compassion and assistance that I crave. I realized that I don't need to look outside of myself for that. Then I became appreciative of the ... I'm holding on to the edge of my seat in suspense of the effort and less concerned with it not being done how I needed it. Right. Did you become exactly what you needed? Was that it? Because that is one of the most powerful life lessons, is that you become what you are asking for. You just be it for yourself. That's what happens when you put yourself first. That's what happens when you turn all of that energy that you are projecting outward, when you turn it into yourself. Okay, let me share this affirmation that I came up with today when I was working with someone else. The affirmation is, I release others to experience their own life. I release others to experience their own life, and I turn my attention into myself. I release others to experience their own life, and I turn my attention into myself. I turn my attention into myself. Because that's the only place that we know what we need. It's in here. The truth is in us. Is our truth is inside. Our attention outside of ourselves, that's not always the answer. It's not always the work right? We are talking about the work that we need to do to make ourselves, to turn ourselves, to create ourselves into our best self, the highest version of ourselves. That work is an inward work. When we become the things that we see other people not giving to us, when we become the things for ourselves so that our light can shine as bright as it's supposed to shine, so that we fill the space that we've come here to fill, that's when people just being in our presence, in our energetic field, just being there, it makes a difference. Have y'all ever been to like a church service? I'm sorry guys, my phone's dying. Have y'all ever been to a church service or a class or a seminar, and the light that's coming off of the person on stage just is emitting through everyone in the room? Like watching Tony Robbins is like, that's my guy. Watching Tony Robbins is like that. His energy just permeates through the room. Hold on, I gotta look at Nick. Nick says, that's my struggle. Everyone needs me and my skill. I feel bad when I need time for myself, almost like I'm compelled to fix it for them or to be there for them. Now you got me opening up in front of strangers. Listen, Nick, this is our safe place. Welcome to the village. This is our space to do this, because, you know, a lot of us, we don't have therapists. We don't go into spaces where these kind of conversations happen. So why not do it within this space? Nobody's judging you here. This is the space where you open up so that you can get the love and the appreciation and the space to share and to receive. This is your space to receive. So I so honor you for doing that, for opening up, for sharing your story, because Nick, yours is not the only one. There are a lot of people who have the same issue. I've had that issue. I know people on this thread have that issue. Roche just said, Nick, oh my God, yes. You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much for just offering that space. Now, let's talk a little bit about the guilt that comes along with self-care. How many people, raise your hand, give me that, what's the hand up emoji? How many people have experienced guilt for taking care of yourself? Whether that be saying no, taking time to yourself. People say that you're isolated. Where are you going? Why you not answering the phone? You acting different. How many people have experienced that guilt when all you're doing is taking care of yourself? I know I have. Yes. We have experienced that guilt. However, that is a part of self-love. Think about this. This is a great analogy. You've got a significant other. You walk into a room and someone is dogging your significant other out. I mean, they are using cuss words. They are saying stuff about them that is just so wrong and messed up. What are you going to do? Immediately, you're going to, hold up. Wait a minute. Who are you? And why are you saying those things about them, about him, about her? What? I don't even care why you're saying it. Just stop right now. Stop right now. You're going to defend. I love y'all. Nick said, bless them with these hands. Exactly. Roche, buck. Exactly. You're going to turn up. Who you talking about? Who? Say that name again. Why don't we do that for ourselves and not feel guilty for it? We're not even going to feel bad for blessing them with them hands, are we? We're not going to feel bad for the turn up because we know that is what's needed in the moment. Why don't we do that for ourselves? Why don't we use that same zeal and energy when we know we need something? When we know that the right thing for us, all that we give out, because we're all givers, right? Especially those here in this room, we're givers. We're constantly giving out advice. We're constantly fixing things. We're constantly using our compassion. We need to turn some of that stuff I allow others to live their lives and have their experiences, and I turn that attention into myself. Sometimes we have to do that and not feel bad about it. Where are those people going to be when you pop off because you are exhausted from giving, 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 giving? Where are those relationships going to be when you are resenting a relationship? When resentment and fear and disgust come into the room, where you have a person asking you for another thing to fix, bringing it and dumping it on you to do. We can't survive like that. We cannot be healers from that space, not from a space of wanting. We have to be healers and contributors from a place of health and wellness. Nick says, that's a tough one. It's only people close to me, family and loved ones. I have no idea how to tell them no, or I need some time. That guilt is real. It is real, Nick. That guilt is so real. I feel it often as a mother, because as society tells me that I need to put my children first, but it's not the truth. Just like you can't put anybody before yourself. You know what that's like. So let me just say this. You know what it feels like to put others in front of yourself all the time. You know what it's like to fix other people's problems, to make their lack of planning your emergency, to make their lack of personal growth your responsibility. You don't know how to say no to them because they've made you their savior. They've put you in that position. You even put yourself in that position. You say, yes, I'm Mr. Fix-It. I'm a healer. I'm sure that feels like a part of your identity at this point. However, you know what it feels like. You know the other side of that. You know that it's exhausting. You know that it becomes black and white, right? You know that it becomes either you are helping or you're isolated. Either it's completely yes or completely no. And that can cause a lot of confusion in yourself and your relationships. And so, Nick, it's time, use this time, this season. Look, use the fall, use the winter, use Scorpio season, use Sagittarius energy that's coming next. Use that time for inner assessment, for inner looking, especially Scorpio season that goes through the end of November. Use this time to look inside and be honest with what you need for yourself to feel good and feel healthy. Write those things down. Do a video journaling. Record yourself. Talk about these things. Talk about what makes you feel good. Not things that are not associated with other people. Sometimes if isolation really makes you feel rejuvenated, if you go into your isolation and it makes you feel good, be real with yourself about that. I just need time to myself, because I know I do. As a healer and giver, I need time where I don't have anybody to answer to. I don't answer my phone. I don't return phone calls. I don't return text messages. And people be looking at me like, dang, man, where you at? Gone. In my shell. Because I need to recuperate from all of this giving and loving that I'm doing for other people. It's okay. And the more you do it, the less guilty you'll feel. Because you'll see the difference. You'll see how your giving is now a source of it comes from a place of health. And it comes from a place, it's just like light giving off. Because you're taking care of yourself. Y'all, we have a minute left. I have got to do better about these hours in my wrap up. Nick says, it turns into a negative habit of not ever asking for help because I know what it's like to be drained by helping. I haven't taken a vacation since 2012. Well, maybe that is the first step for the end of this year and the beginning of next year, is taking a vacation. Maybe by yourself. Maybe 3 days where you are cut off. And you let everybody know, communicate. Hey, I'm going on vacation by myself. Phone's going to be off. Okay? Nick, Roche, Ishaq, Nazreen, Jamil, everyone, Ricky, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for honoring me in this space, for honoring the village, the space that we create. If you guys want to continue the conversation, feel free to DM me. Let's keep talking. Go to the link in my bio. Please sign up for my email list so that I can get you the resources after this. Nas, it'll be on